It is another episode of Save Loud Podcast, and today in my hot seat, why don't you tell them who you are? I know who you are. Why don't you tell them who you are?
Yeah, y'all. What's up, y'all? What's up? I'm happy to be here. My name is Jacques. I'm founder and designer of the Jacques. I had to stop through, show my girl some love. What's up, mama? What's good, Carrie?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm a big fan, so I've been following you for a while, and I know we know a lot of the same people, but we don't actually know each other. But I'm definitely a fan of the work you're doing with the clothing line. So
Thank you,
I
thank
wanted
you.
to have you on the show because I was like, it's so refreshing to see the energy, and like you was doing this before it was a thing. I think we need to talk about that too. Like some people are now just getting up to like, all right, let's celebrate the culture, let's do this, but like you was doing this before it was like the trendy Black Lives Matter thing to do. So let's talk about that. What was the inspiration?
Well, the inspiration behind the Jacques was I wanted to represent where I was from. I come from a culture where back in the days where being Haitian wasn't something that was accepted.
Right.
Where Haitians used to lie about and say they were Jamaican because they either thought they were going to get jumped or people wouldn't approve them or accept them. So I grew up in that era, Nyack, Spring Valley, where dudes is like, it was awful to be Haitian, and in that area was a large population of Haitians.
Right.
So, I started a clothing line, and when I first started, it was like animal prints. I just wanted to do different stuff, like clubs stuff to go to clubs with and try to show off pop bottles, and that wasn't working out too much. You had competition with Sean John, Fubu, and all that other crazy stuff. So it wasn't working. And I got the idea to put the Haitian flag on the sleeves. I was like, yo, what if I rep my culture? See what happens. And I did. And people liked it. And I just kept building on the snowball, kept building on the snowball. And it just came this huge snowball. And everybody just adapted to it and they loved it. And I just ran with it.
Wow. So when did you start? When
I
did you
started,
start this line?
I started
Because
about
you're talking
20.
about Sean John. That's a minute ago.
But yeah, well, I mean, that's back in the days, those were the brands. Well, not, well, Sean John was popping back in the days before they got sold. It was popping, and that was my inspiration to have a clothing line just like them.
Right.
Right now those clothing brands were long gone, but that was my inspiration, like Diddy, to be like, damn, they started a clothing line, let me do it. So I was into rap at first, and that was my transition. I still had that in my. It wasn't around when I was doing rap too much, but it was around a little bit at Macy's. But that was my transition to say I'm not rapping anymore. Let me try something else. So
Right.
I got the idea from like Diddy and everybody else doing it, how successful they were, and I got down with it. It didn't work at first, but by
Why do you say it
2015,
didn't work?
because when you start a clothing brand, everybody think it's real easy. They're like, oh well, I'm gonna just make a logo, throw it on a shirt, and I'm gonna sell it. Cool, yeah, you're gonna make a couple of sales to your peoples, but then when you realize after all your peoples got it, how am I gonna get it out to the masses? And that's when you get stuck. And then when you get stuck, uh, you get discouraged, and then now you don't want to do it no more. But when I started, I was like, I have a crazy idea. Everybody's in the club. It's time where going in the club and spending $500 to $1,000 for bottles was cool. I was like, let me see if I can get these guys like these animal prints on the sleeves to wear
Mm,
to make them look real cool, because everybody's just like looking regular,
right.
or trying to do the Gucci and the Pradas and all that crazy shit. So I tried that, and it was cool, but my prices was real crazy. I was like, I'm gonna just sell a shirt for like $150 and see who buys it, and one or two sales like every other month.
Right.
And it wasn't working. I was getting discouraged, just like everybody else trying to start a brand. And I got the idea through a friend of mine. I was complaining. I was like, damn, nobody's buying my stuff, man. Like, I'm ready to just get out of here, man. Like, I tried rap, it was cool, and I won Underground Music Awards, and everything was dope, but nobody's really buying my brand. And he was like, man, listen, you Haitian, man. Just rep your culture. And I was like, yo, you know what? You're absolutely right. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that being in New York, I had all the resources.
Right.
New York has everything, the fashion district, downtown, everything. So I had all the resources just walking around seeing stuff. And I was like, damn, I know where I could get Haitian flags from. So I went down there and I took a chance, just like anybody. I was like, I'm going to just try it. It's not going to kill me to try it. I
Right.
went on Amazon. I brought a sewing machine. I didn't know how to sew. with YouTube. Yeah, I didn't know how to sew. I remember when I
I
first
was
got
gonna
my sewing
ask you
machine.
that. Like, were you inclined to sew? Like, did you know how to do that, or you just were like, "I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna just teach myself as I go."
Yo, I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I buy this sewing machine. I'm just staring at it like. And at that time, YouTube was like, YouTube is not at that time, 2015. YouTube is not what it was now,
Right.
where now you get detail on how to do everything. YouTube was just like a dude that's like, hey, you want to learn how to sew? Then this is what you gotta do. So I'm like, I gotta keep rewinding it. I missed a step. What did I do wrong? Like right now, companies you could buy something and they'll teach you how exactly what to do.
Right.
In 2015, it wasn't like that. It was just like, yeah. You bought the sewing machine. Here's our brand. Buy it, and yeah, do this,
Yeah.
do that, do that. And I was just learning, and I made mistakes. I made mistakes. I made mistakes. Made mistakes. I made mistakes. And finally, I got the sleeves on. Finally, I got the sleeves on, and I took a picture just to take a picture to be like, yo, let me see what they say. They could have shamed me or whatever, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna get one like. And I
Right.
actually got it, and my like first like was a dude that's like, hey, how much for that shirt? And
Wow.
and I was just like,
Um.
$40. Give me $40. And he was with it. He was like, yo,
Yeah.
you take PayPal? And I was like, yeah, I take PayPal. And he did it, and I did that. And I remember telling him, yo, if you wear it, just send the pictures to me. And he actually wore it at a barbecue that summer, sent the picture to me. I put it up online, and I just was like, yo, maybe I could just like do different things with Haiti flags,
Right.
like a hoodie, shorts, and I just started just like these ideas just kept flowing. I was just putting stuff out there, even though I didn't have it. I just
Yeah.
had one piece for me, but I
But
made
that's
it seem
okay.
like right. But I made it seem like everybody was buying it. You know what I mean? And I preach that to all my up and coming designers. Like, yo, make it big. You got to make it
Yeah.
look big. Everything is marketing. And with online, just like regular lives, people always make their lives seem bigger than what it is. So that's what I did with my clothing brand. I was like, oh, anytime I get a chance to go to a family function or a barbecue, I will wear these. This is a Haiti flag, the first one I actually made. Not the
Yeah.
actual first one, but this was the actual
The
first
first
design I
design.
ever made. Right. So I wore it to a family function. I took pictures. I put it up like I was actually wearing it. Anything, a party. I'll be at a
Just rep
party.
your
This
rep
I'll
your
be at a
brand.
I'll be at a dipset party. No hip hop, no Haitians at all. I'll wear it.
Yeah.
And just like we always know, Haitians are everywhere. And it went from like a dude randomly coming up to me at a gangster hip hop party. Yo, you Haitian? Yeah. Yo, where can I get that?
Right.
Same thing. I got you. Go to my
Yeah.
website. I got you. Take a picture when you got it. I got you. He took a picture. And now you starting to see 5 people with pictures on my site. And now people are like, yo, people are actually liking this shit. Like
Right.
they wearing it. And like I said, I kept building on a snowball and I just let it roll.
That's amazing. When you listen to the story, because a lot of people would have A, probably given up, or B, been like, I don't know where to take it from
Where
here.
to take it. And that's everybody. That's everybody. Everybody always come out with a brand. And I see it. And I try to preach and I try to help people out. And I'm like, I'm gonna help you out. Like, I don't want to give my sources up, but then sometimes there's people I
Right.
actually know, and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not gonna say nothing, but if you go to this location right here, you could probably get that to make that look better. And they're like, oh, thanks. But
Yeah. I feel like
I
people
try to
need
help
to
out.
do that sometimes. Yeah. Like I feel like we need to support each other when it comes to that sometimes because there's like a wealth of knowledge and we don't want to share it at times. And it's like, damn, if somebody would have just told me, I probably wouldn't have quit or I probably would have, did something a little bit different. And I think there's people that are OGs from trial and error, like just from making those mistakes that could help other
Absolutely.
people. What do you think's been the biggest obstacle about starting a a line, building a brand? What do you think's been the biggest obstacle for you?
Well, the biggest obstacle to me is the creativity. Everybody come out with one design and they keep running with that same design. But I always preach to have fun with it. Challenge
Yeah.
yourself to see what other styles you can make. And I'm not gonna
So
front. I did Haiti, but at some point I was like, I'm gonna do everybody. So
right.
if I go in my closet and show you, I have a whole bag of everybody's flags: Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, uh,
Oh yeah.
Everywhere, yo,
You
everywhere.
need to
St.
be on
Croix,
Eastern
St. Lucia.
Parkway.
Oh man, I have a whole bag because I got to a point where I seen where it was going. I was like, oh, I gotta make everybody, and that's what everybody was saying. Make everybody. And I did, and I was really busy at one point because everybody was new to it. So everybody wanted to rock their flags, and I was just extremely busy. And then it died down a little bit where I noticed it was just Haitians always checking for me. Haitians, Haitians, Haitians. So
Right.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just limit it to just my peoples. Um, I'm gonna just
But there's
limit it
nothing
to
wrong
just my
with that
peoples.
because when you think about it, when you think about sales, right, and you think about marketing, it's like, who's your people? What's your niche market? What makes you
What's your
not
target
necessarily different?
audience?
Yeah, but what's your target audience? So there's nothing wrong with having a target audience that continues to just keep coming back. Like I don't think there's
Right,
anything wrong with that. If that's there's a need and you're able to meet that need of those people, like that's that. You know what I mean? And that's a part of your niche.
right,
So
right.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
All
I think that that's dope. I have a question though. Like, what inspires you? Do you ever just be like, "Dag, I got nothing"?
right. I let it flow. I put it in the hands of God. You know,
Really?
yeah, I put it in the hands of God. I like to get inspired by everything in my surroundings.
Yeah.
So I'll walk the street and I'll see something, and I'm like, damn, I could do that in my own style. You got to get inspired by your environment, things that you see every day, things that people say. Like when I wanted to do hoodies, for example, I was like, all right, so let me challenge myself. Everybody sees a hoodie, and what's the first thing they say? I'm gonna put something on the chest.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put something on the hood. That's cool, but what are you gonna do with something different? So I was like, I'm gonna
Right.
put the Haitian flag on the pocket. So I would stitch out the
Right.
pockets, put the flag on there, and re-stitch it back. It's a process, but it worked out, and people love it. And I'm the only dude that I've ever seen with that. Varsity jackets,
Right.
for example. I was like, yo, I like varsity jackets. I like the way people look in college. That's dope. What am I gonna do? Throw a million patches on it. Rep
Right.
Haiti all over the varsity jackets, just like they would do in college with all the football patches, the big
Right.
numbers, the letters. And I did the same thing, and it worked out. And I'm the only dude that's doing varsity jackets. Just the creativity of just letting it flow. You could try trial and error, just like I do sometimes. I can't think of the ideas. I'll sit in front of my computer and I'm like, what isn't everybody doing that I could do that's gonna make me stand out?
Right.
I got to a point where after I noticed after 3, 4 years, 5 years, I was like, everybody caught on, and everybody, there's other Haitian designers doing Haiti stuff, throwing the Haitian flag all over the place. I'm like, that's cool, but what are you gonna do to represent Haiti without doing what everybody else is doing? That's when I
Right.
started getting into different things like sneakers and little stuff to throw the Haiti flag on it, graduation sashes. Then people started doing graduation sashes.
Yeah.
Um, it was the littlest niches to try to represent Haiti. People caught on, but there's money for everybody. You can't hate on the next man for seeing your idea. Maybe you inspired the next man, just like somebody inspired me to be creative. So it's cool. It's always a challenge, and
That
you
was
have to
gonna be my
challenge
next
yourself.
question too. That was gonna be my next question. Do you see people like stealing your ideas and you're like, yo, fuck, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Like, or do you feel like, nah, it's okay, I'll just come with the next thing?
Nah, because at the end of the day, the main goal is to represent Haiti, right? That's the main goal. It's not to get rich off of the Haitian culture. It's to represent and push the Haitian culture,
Right.
and that was my main goal anyway. So my mom always used to be like, "Oh, they're gonna steal your
Hmm.
ideas. They're gonna steal your ideas." And my response is like, "Mom, I know, but at the end of the day, if you get 10 people stealing your ideas, there still be 10 people pushing the Haitian culture, and that's fine with me.
Right.
It just
Right.
challenges me to outdo them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never be in your feelings where you're like, oh, they're
Right.
stealing my ideas. I had a million Haitian designers. I had a Haitian designer. I'm not gonna say his name. You know, who hit me up and was like, all right, so bust it. So I knew a location in New York where I could get, these scarves. You know, I don't know if he was getting them from that same manufacturer or if it's actually his style, but I found them. I had a dude selling them wholesale. It was these beautiful Haitian scarves, beautiful. And I was like, yo, that's dope. I went to my manufacturer and I was like, yo, how much? He's like, well, it's this, that, the third for a dozen. I was like, yo, I'll take them. I started flossing them. Boom, boom, boom. I went online. I saw people taking pictures of other people wearing them. I was like, yo, I'm throwing this shit on my site. I'm selling these. And I started rocking and rolling. This designer got in his feelings and literally hit me up and was like, yo, bro, that's my scarf. Take it down. I was like, what you mean that's your scarf? I didn't steal your idea. I didn't make this. I didn't see your idea, went in the crib and remanufactured your idea.
Right.
No. I was downtown at all my manufacturers doing what I do, shopping around, and your scarf was at this place and they sold it to me at wholesale. So I bought it. So if anything, if you had any parts with this wholesaler, then I'm making you money because they should be paying you. Nah,
Right.
but I'm the one that came out with that first and I'm selling it and that's my niche and you selling it on your site, so you messing up my money. I'm like, yo, there's money for everybody, fam.
Right.
And I
Right.
and I totally disregarded him. I'm from New York. We really don't care. I'm like, yo, man, get out of here. And I deaded him, and I still was selling on my site. And this dude was mad persistent to a point where it was almost getting like beef. Like he's hitting me up, and I'm like, yo, fam, you keep coming at me, but I'm getting it. You need to speak to the people that I'm getting it from, not me. I'm
Right.
getting it from
Right.
the plug. You need to speak to your plug and tell him to stop selling your shit if it's yours.
But they're
And
not
to a
gonna do
point
that
where,
either because it's a wholesale item. You and I both
correct.
know that. Like if it's a wholesale item, everybody got white tees, but you're gonna get mad at me because I got a white tee. Like
And
they
that, and
selling it
that's
wholesale.
and that's how I was feeling. Like everybody's selling white tees because you're the first dude that sold white tees to the hood. Now you feeling like I can't sell white tees, but I'm not getting it from. I'm not crossing nobody. I'm getting it from a plug, and you need to talk
Right.
to that plug. Go handle it with them. But anyway, so I figured there was two options. I could either keep beefing with this dude about it, or just say fuck him and do what I got to do. And I don't want no beef
Mm.
in the hood. We Haitian. Like even though dude was from another state, I really didn't care. Even if he was from my hood, I really didn't care. But I didn't want that kind of energy. I didn't want that kind of energy
Right.
around me. And I had a catalog already of items. He was just beefing about that. And when I checked his catalog, I'm like, dude had like 3 items. So I'm like, yeah, maybe this is his way of eating. And you know what? There's money for everybody. So I figured it out. I hit him up. I was like, yo, fam, look, if you're really adamant about coming at me for this, I'll take it off my site. There's a million other items in my catalog I could sell. Fine. I'll let you eat off of this. Go ahead. And I actually took it off my site. And
Wow. That's dope.
whatever pieces I had left that I bought, I actually sent it to people who ordered over like $200. I was like, yo, I threw an extra scarf in there for you. Here, it's yours.
Yeah. No,
I
that's
took the
dope.
loss.
That's dope.
But the whole point, dude wound up saying, damn, he was cool. He didn't keep beefing with me. He actually was like chill. And then that was it. And I moved on and I created 10 more new items from those
Yeah.
scarves since then. You know what I mean? So it was fine.
That's crazy though. That I mean, I feel like it happens, but I feel like again, if you're purchasing wholesale items from a wholesaler, like everybody has access to it. So you
Correct.
can't
So
get
it
mad.
could so he would have been beefing with 10 people trying to sell 10 of those items, but I knew that I was and the funny part, the manufacturer was from China.
Of course he was. All the manufacturers are from China. It's like he's gonna sell it to whoever's gonna buy it. So, I mean, at this point, I feel like unless you make it yourself, like you sat there and you sold your shirts or you sketched a design, you
Correct. That's
know,
stealing.
yeah, if it's mass production, then it's just mass production. Like, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
people got to know the difference between like that's mine versus did you sit down, sketch it, sew it together and then put it out there.
Right,
So I
right,
think
right.
I don't know. So you said I didn't know this about you, but you said you actually was in music and you used to dabble in rap music and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah. I used to
I
get it
really,
in. I used to get in.
really, were you nice?
I'm nice. I'm nice.
Really?
I'm really really nice. Like that was my thing growing up. In the Bronx. Like when I left the Bronx, Co-op City, I was going to school, IS 180 next to Truman, and I was going to Truman,
Hmm.
and that was my thing. They knew me. They was like, yo, this kid is nice in rap. And then my mom sent me to Spring Valley, and Spring Valley showed me so much love. Like, yo, Haitian rapper that's actually nice. Like he from out here, but he was born in Haiti. He's actually nice. And I back in the days there was a club called Rage in Spring Valley. Jay-Z opened up there once. I opened up for Tabu Combo there as a kid. I opened up for a bunch of people there. Silhouette. I opened up for Busta Rhymes and Silhouette. I did a
I
song
remember
with
all those places.
Yeah, I did a song with Elephant Man. Um, like I was like Spring Valley really took my rap career to another level because it's a small town.
Right.
So because it's a small town, you knew who was nice.
Yeah.
If there was a dude doing something, he was nice in basketball, you knew that was him. If it was dude rapping, you knew that was him. And I was that kid out of like 10 kids in Spring Valley that was really rap. Everybody was rapping, but we was really nice. Like I was doing shows. Everybody would throw me on the stage. Whoever was performing in Spring Valley that time, I was the dude opening up. I was in the streets battling, doing everything, winning. And then when I finished high school, I went to college in Philly, and I graduated. And when I went back to the Bronx, that's when I really kept going hard with my rap career. Got signed to E1. I won 2 Underground Music Awards, and
Wow.
a
Okay.
bunch of different awards in New York City. I was just all over the place. And when I got into the industry, it just wasn't working out for me. By then, I was exhausted. I had no money. I was young. I started a family. I had a daughter. Um, we were struggling and paying studio time 6, 7 hours for one song, having to try to do a whole album. Next thing you know, you spending about $1,500 to $2,000 just recording. Wasn't
Yeah.
working out, and I was like,
Yeah.
I got to find something that's gonna generate money for me that I love, and
Right.
that's how I transitioned from rap. My fans didn't like it, but I wound up doing a bunch of songs with people, Saigon, Elephant Man. I was
Wow.
all over
I
the
love
place.
Elephant Man.
Yeah, I did a song with him that never came out. I actually toured. I was at Ocho Rios. At the time, there was a tour called Follow the Arrow Tour, Ocho Rios. I
Yeah.
actually flew there, went on stage, ripped it. The song I did it to was Swiss Beat at the time was "It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Bent, 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 bring them
Bring
out." And
him
I
out.
came out
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and the whole Jamaica went crazy. They probably thought I was Swiss because I looked like him and I had the whole hat backwards and a Bob Marley shirt, and I was on stage. They probably was like, "Oh!" And at that time, that song was popping. They was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
that's Swiss, that's Swiss." And they love me, and they love me. And I remember I got on stage, and the dude was like, "Yo, you was dope, man. You was dope. Yo, last year they booed Ja Rule." I was like, "Oh shit,
What? Yeah. It's rough. It's right. Jamaica don't play.
nah,
Um.
Jamaica don't play."
Yeah. It's rough. My parents are Jamaican. That's how I know they don't play. um.
Yeah.
So because of the music, because I think like fashion and music go together in my mind, right?
Mhm.
And like fashion has so much to do with the culture and the trends of the culture. Like, how do you stay on top of that?
Well, the culture and music, or just the
Like using the
just
music to push the fashion.
oh well, I tried to tie it in as far as, but I transitioned from hip hop. I totally like just left hip hop and just went straight into fashion. But in between that, what I would do is, because people knew I was still rapping, like I said, when I was doing the animal sleeves at first, I would actually rock my gear and go to events,
Yeah,
and that's when people was like, "Who's that?" Like, for example, there was a dude in Harlem called Sugar J at the time, that I was starting my brand, Sugar J. His girl at the time was some girl named Nessa, who's real big on Instagram. They both big. They was ill, and I was hanging out with them at the time. So in Harlem, they was going to all the ill parties, rappers, strip clubs, and all that. And I would wear my brand when I first started to hang out with them, and people knew me as a rapper at the time. So being with them and then rapping, people would come up to me. They'd be like, "Yo, what is that?" I'm like, "Yo, that's my brand. I'm doing fashion now." And that's how I actually transitioned and basically just got into it with the trends and figured it out until I got into it with the Haiti stuff. So,
no, I
it's kind of,
definitely feel that though. I really do feel like there's so much of hip hop culture in fashion and people don't even notice it. You know what I mean? But it does grow and it is a trend and I'm sure part of your authenticity is in the fashion that you have and there's still parts of you that are like I listen to this music. This is a part of my Haitian culture, my hip hop culture, my Bronx culture and then put that in your clothes,
yeah. Yeah, but
you
that's what
know?
it's about. Like I said, I always
So
wanted to push my culture, and I figured out the fashion was definitely a way to do it. People want to wear, they want to represent, and at the time, I've never seen it done before, and that's why I was one step ahead. Is people were not wearing flags on sleeves. You know?
right. Right. I feel like fashion designers are leaders in helping to create the culture. Do you feel that it feels like a burden for you? Like for the Haitian culture, do you feel like it's a burden or you're like, nah, let's just keep going, let's create new things?
Yeah,
Like do
yeah.
you feel like you carrying the torch right now?
No, because I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. Everybody else is doing it now. I don't know if I was the first, but I definitely was part of that movement that started pushing, the culture through fashion. And I feel like now a lot of people's doing it. And, I just feel like I'm just a helping hand. Coming from
Yeah.
Haiti, we've had it rough all these years. So for us to see people smiling, appreciating us in fashion, with Kodak Black, with hip hop, Wyclef John, and our athletes, Naomi, in tennis. Um, Feels great that we're able to push our culture through various forms, various platforms, and
Right.
that's
And
important.
and
That's
celebrate
very
it.
important. Yeah, so it's like there's no Haitians are so deep everywhere around the world that no one Haitian holds the torch. It's like we're all giving a helping hand to lift the culture up. There's
I
no
love
one
that.
person like I don't consider myself like I always tell myself, yo, you the illest. You the illest in this fashion design. I always tell myself that. But I know there's somebody iller than me. I know somebody with a doper design than me. And that's cool. And I like that. I see things online, other designers, and I never say competitors, I say other designers, and I'm like, that shit is dope, and I'm not scared to hit a like, and I'm not scared to tell him, yo, that's dope. And they all see it. They're like, oh shit, Jacques just said my shit is dope. So, and and that's dope. And I think we need to do that more.
We need to do that more as a people, but for sure. What advice would you give to like up and coming designers?
Um, Create your brand. If you create your brand, you're not everything is not gonna be peaches and cream at first. You're gonna invest a little more than you expected. You have to be creative. You have to come out with something that, it's more than just, I'm going to take a logo and put it on my chest and then put it out and give it to 100 people. No, people are not buying that no more. We
Right.
want to buy something that makes us feel good. And I always tell people don't follow brands, they follow movements. It's easy for you to put a logo on a shirt. Yeah, yeah, cool. But if they don't know your background story on how you work for it or where you're going, what your goals are, they're not buying it. People follow movements. I like to follow movement. I will buy a shirt knowing where he's going or what he's been through,
Hmm.
right? What his goal is or what he's been through or what he's trying to represent, more or less than just seeing a dope design. If it's the
Right.
dope design, I'm supporting somebody, I'll buy it and then I'll throw it in the head, but I'll probably never wear it again. But if I see like this dude has a movement and it's more than just Haitian clothing, it could be something that's representing something that's really dope or something that maybe I want to be a part of or
Right.
something that I'm definitely like pro with. You know what I mean? Like I'm with it. If
Yeah.
people follow movements, they don't follow brands. And that applies to music. It applies to anything that you're doing. If you, for example, if you see a kid that's playing basketball in a street corner and he's nice, you're gonna be like, yeah, he's nice. Every day you go to court, he's nice. But if you find out, yo, this kid is actually going to college. Every day I see him
Mm.
practicing. Yo, this kid is about to get like big. He's about to go to NBA. Then now you want to follow his movement and you want to
Right.
really support him
Right.
more or
Right.
less. And this is a kid that's going to basketball courts just to just beat everybody. But if you
Right.
see like he has a following, that's how the following's built. People follow
Right.
movements, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good piece of advice to give anyone actually for anything that they want to do. I never
Thank
thought
you.
about that, but you're right. So
Yeah.
let's get into some fuckery now, because this show likes to talk about fuckery.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. Let me take a hit of this hookah real quick.
for sure. So you're packing your whole bag, right?
Uh-huh.
And you need to put 3 items in your whole bag. First of all, do guys carry whole bags? I gotta ask you.
What
Do
you
like
mean? Like
like a spending a night bag? Do guys carry that? Is that like a
what
thing?
the bat? What bag?
Yeah, like
Like
a
those
bag,
women
like an
bags?
overnight bag. Like if you go to your girl house and you spending the night, do you carry a bag?
Nah,
No,
nah. I
guys
don't.
don't carry spending
Well,
the night bags.
nah. They don't really carry night bags unless you're going for the weekend. If you're going for the weekend somewhere, yeah. But like even my girl, like I go to her crib and I was at her crib last night and I took like a pair of jeans and was like, yo, I got any other stuff at your crib that I could just wear next morning? Like
So,
I'm not gonna
but
sit
you
here and
knew you
pack a
were
bag to
spending
go to
the
her
night.
house.
But you knew you were spending
Yeah,
the night, but you don't pack a
but
bag.
unless look,
No. So that's a. Is it,
unless we going out for a weekend or a trip,
wait.
I'll pack a
Is
bag.
it?
But
Is your
if I'm
girl
just
there?
going for yeah,
Is your
yeah,
girl
she
there?
chilling.
So ask her when she sleeps over your house. Does she pack a bag though?
She asks if you sleep over my house, do you pack a bag? Nah, nah.
Oh, she
Because
don't pack a bag.
first of all, we don't live too far from each other, so she knows
Okay,
at any given moment she could just go. But if
just
she
go get
did,
what she
let's say
needs.
if she lived in Queens, she would pack a bag.
So I think so. Packing a bag is more of a ladies thing versus a guy thing.
Yeah, it's a ladies thing. It's guys,
Okay.
we don't plan to stay there too long. We gonna go there. We gonna spend some time with you. We gonna eat a breakfast, and then we jumping back in our clothes. We got shit to do. You know what I mean? Like we not gonna be packing no bags. We ain't staying there too long. Like I be beefing at her like, yo, love, I got way too much clothes at your crib. I be missing shit. I be trying to go out. She got my belts. She got all my belts. I'm
Because you
calling
left
like,
it
yo, you got.
there.
I'm like, yo, you got my belts? She's like, yeah, I got them. And I'm like, yo, I need them. And she'll bounce on a trip somewhere and I need my
And
belts. You know what I mean? I'm looking for my belts, but yeah, I ain't
see,
packing no bags
so
unless we
guys are
going
not
on a
packing
trip.
bags. All right. So my
Yeah.
next question is: there's this whole thing going around about women proposing to men. Would you feel uncomfortable if a woman proposed to you?
Uh, I think it's a nice gesture, but I don't think that's their position to do that. You know what I
That's
mean?
what I say.
Yeah, I think it's whack. I've seen it online, and I just think and it's just my opinion. I don't speak for everybody else, but it's just think it's real thirsty. If
I do too.
if a man's not sitting there trying to say, yo, let's build a family and make this happen, love, there's no reason for you to try to change his mind and be like, hey, do you want to marry me? That's a man's position to be like, hey, look, let's sit down and make this work. Let's build a family together. It's not your job to be like, hey, do you want to marry? If he hasn't done it yet, obviously, clearly, he's not trying to
That
do it. You know what I mean?
that's what I said. I said he knows whether or not he wants to
He
marry you.
wants to
If
be,
he wanted
yeah,
to
he wants
marry
to,
you, he would ask
right.
you.
If he ain't
That's
asked you,
my
then he's
opinion.
not sure. He's not sure. He don't want it. That's what it is.
I don't know. I'm all for women being empowered and getting paid the right wage and doing the right thing and all that shooting they shot. Like I'm all for that. But then at
Yeah,
some
that's
point
cool.
I'm
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, but then at some point I'm like, all right, sis, I don't know about that part though. I don't feel like you should be asking. I still believe in like I'm still old school. Maybe it's the culture, maybe it's the Caribbean part, but I'm like, nah, if somebody want to marry you, they're gonna ask you. You don't need to ask. You don't
Yeah,
need to get out on your knee and ask. If they didn't ask you, they don't want to marry you.
yeah, I'm old
How
school. I'm not with that.
yeah, I don't like that. So, and one more thing. So there's also this thing going around the internet with the bonnets. And while I was sitting here, I was like, Dad, you should make a Haitian bonnet. A Haitian
What? All right. A bonnet is what again? Remind me.
it it is like it looked like a shower cap, but it's made out of cloth. And you put
Nah,
it on at night so that you don't mess up your weave. I don't
like a
really use a
like
bonnet
a
because
like a
I can't.
durag.
Yeah, like a do rag, but it looks more like your grandma's shower cap. It's just
Yeah,
made
yeah,
out of fabric.
yeah. I seen that. I seen that. That was the dude from Friday. Big
Yeah,
Worm. Big Worm had that on Friday. He had a
and
bonnet on Friday.
so now everybody's been talking about it because like women been coming outside with their bonnet on,
Um,
and
I'm not with none of that. I live in Washington Heights, and some of these Spanish girls come out and they got they got like shit that you go to sleep with at night, and they in the store. Um, like pajamas. They got
yeah,
pajamas, and they think it's cute. Pajamas and sandals and bonnets, and they at the store thinking it's cute. It's not cute, love. Get your ass back in the crib, change, and then come to the store. Ain't nobody want to know that you
yo,
were sleeping all night and you were so lazy that you didn't want to just change and take a shower and come to the store. You was like, I'ma just stay here, stink. Right?
I'm not a fan of the bonnet being worn outside. Oh, where did he go? I feel like a bonnet is a sleeping. I don't even want to sleep in it to tell you the truth, but outside of sleeping in it, I just feel like you don't wear your pajamas outside. You shouldn't be outside in your bonnet. That's my honest opinion. And I know we all for like, but it doesn't matter. You don't come outside in your pajamas and your house shoes, then you shouldn't be outside in a bonnet. That's my opinion. And if you got a man and your man is in your house, I don't know how that bonnet flex work, but I'm not with that either. So that's
Yeah,
just my
I'm not
honest
with that
opinion.
either.
I just don't. I
I've
don't.
seen a couple dudes. I, I've seen a couple dudes doing that, and that's not cool, bro. Just that pajama shit, man. Just look. I know you was playing 2K all day, and you didn't feel like changing, but bro, come on,
Like
throw on some gray sweats at least. You know what I mean? Throw some
Yeah,
gray sweats and
I can't
something.
do it. I can't do it. I think at some point, and not only that, like I'm a real firm believer, like the way you carry yourself is how people treat you. So if you outside looking like a bum, I'm
Yeah, and
probably
I'm the
gonna
same
treat you
way.
like a bum. I'm probably gonna treat you like a bum. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
that's a
mean
hundred.
to, but like you didn't care enough about yourself to put yourself together to come out here. So why should I care enough to like, I'm a firm believer in that. Like what people see, whether it's real or not, that's how they treat you. So if you outside and you looking like you ain't got no home training, then that's how somebody's gonna treat you. Don't get mad at that.
I'm with that 100. I'm 100 on that one.
So where are we going now with this line, and where can people find you? What's next for the Jacques?
Well, for the last 2 years, I've been trying to work with Carnival Cruises. I've been trying to establish me being the lead um, designer for a store on Norwegian Carnival Cruises to be able to have different flags at a store. So when people go on these trips, they want to go to Barbados, they want to go to Belize, you can go to the store and you can get flag sleeves on it.
That's
I
big.
was emailing them and they emailed me back, and that was going. And then COVID happened, so I had to put a stop on it. But I'm waiting for that to get back so I could definitely make a move on that. Other than that, that was a great idea. Other than that, got my website. People still buying stuff. I just made 2 graduation sashes. I have an event in Philadelphia this weekend, Juneteenth, where I'm making black shirts with red, black, and green on the sleeves and
Nice.
the patches on the chest. I'm doing that, and it's real smooth. I spoke to my man Shazam. Shout out to Shazam. I'm driving out there. This is my second event in Philadelphia. I'm super excited about. Juneteenth is real dope.
Yeah,
That's
for real.
um that's their celebration of being black in America, just like we do it, us Haitians. But I'm really excited, so I'm doing that. So I'm trying to stay moving. You never want to be stagnant as a designer. Sometimes we get to a point where people's not buying our stuff, and don't be ashamed if they're not buying your stuff. It's just the way business works. One day
Right.
you're hot, next day you're not hot, but you have to stay focused. You have to stay determined, and you have to keep creating. Remember that. Keep creating. That's the key word.
Well, thank you so much for coming by, gracing us with your presence, hanging out with me.
Absolutely.
Give everybody the website so they can find it. I'll put a link on my website too so they can find you. And everybody, yeah, go out there, shop Jacques, rep the brand. Where can they find you?
They can find me at the Jacques JACQUES .us. That's the Jacques us. The Jacques us. If
Ex-
you can't remember the website, just Google the Jacques Custom Fashion, and I'll pop up on Google. I'm probably number one, the Jacques Custom Fashion, and you'll see me. You can find me on IG, the Jacques. If you see whatever you like, hit me. If there's any questions you have, you can always hit me either on IG or send me an email or through my website. I answer everything myself. I've made all my items myself. There's no Chinois, there's no Chinese person in the background doing it. There's no Indian dude in Pakistan. Everything, God gave me these hands. Everything is made by me. And I've made over 1,500 items and still going, man. I'm by myself. What I mean, nobody else.
wow. Wow, that's good. That's dope. Well, I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing and how you're repping the brand, taking care of yourself and everybody else too while you're out here doing that. So thank you so much for stopping by,
Yeah.
and I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you
you.
for having me on the show, man. The show is really
Of
dope,
course.
man. Really, really dope.
Thank you so much. Hold on.